moved out beginning of October.
Then you move back in?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you sign a new lease?
No, Your Honor.
Then you're a tenant at sufferance.
I'm not aware of her moving back and forth.
You're a squatter living in your cousin's trailer.
Who signed the Fresh Start agreement?
I did.
This is a mess.
Mobile homes and parks are an interesting breed. Once you park your trailer there, it becomes a depreciating asset on land that appreciates in value. After that trailer matures, as many have in St. Joe County, it costs more to move it than to just abandon it in place and let someone else worry about the rent. This tenant and her wife lived in this trailer and then moved out for about 9 months and then moved back in. They didn't tell the landlord they left, and they didn't tell them they returned. Yet somehow, they believe rent isn't due in the meantime. Let's roll, nerds.
Let's talk about your case. This also appears to be lot only. It's alleged to be $378 per month. You indicated that your cousin owns the trailer,
Yes,
but
Your
not
Honor.
the park.
Yes.
Does your cousin also live there?
No, sir.
Who's your cousin?
Ashley Rosner.
All right, well, let's talk about your case. Miss Palia, what's the current arrearage here?
Total of $2,286.66.
This is lot only
Correct.
through October. Miss Ellsworth, what's your position here?
So actually, and that's where I was kind of stuck. I didn't know how to get the help, but I just recently moved here. I don't even have an accurate lease in my name. The charges they're trying to charge me for, I did not live here, and I have proof from another lease from where I was living that I was not here. Prior to I lived here back in before November, and I paid $478 a month, so that was $100 over the lot rent allotment. And then when we moved out on good terms and moved to Kalamazoo. We just officially moved back here, and I still have not received a new lease to even sign or have in my possession.
All right, well, let's talk about this. You don't own the trailer.
Correct.
So the owner of the trailer should be the one that has the agreement with the park. Let's see what the lease says here. You have a lease, Brianna Ellsworth, Ashley Ellsworth. The lease was dated 2/10/24.
Yeah. See, and that's when I lived here previously. I moved out back in beginning of October.
All right, so you move in, you move out, the trailer's still there. That's still accruing lot rent. So there's a lease. Did they know you moved out?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and so then you move back in?
Yes, Your Honor, which I didn't move in till the end of June.
Did you sign a new lease?
No, Your Honor.
Then you're a tenant at sufferance. You have no lease. They can simply move to evict you because you're living there without a lease. That's not a good situation to be in. You're moving out, you're moving in, the trailer stays there. So how does that work? You move out for 6 months, then you move back in. Nobody pays the lot rent on the trailer because I'm not here, but the trailer's still there. They can't use it for their other purpose. Apparently your cousin who owns the trailer doesn't have any lease with them. Can somebody help me on this? Lois, you've got the most history here. What can you tell me about this?
I show that Brianna Ellsworth made a payment of $500 on 6/2/2025, had a previous balance. I'm not aware of her moving back and forth at all. And if someone new did move in, we would absolutely have them sign a lease. We were in the middle of the transition in July, but her name is definitely on the old system before the transition. Her name is on the...
So is Isabella Berrigan. Isabella Berrigan is the one who took it over when I moved out.
So we can't be going back and forth. That's not how we do this. Back and forth, move in, move out.
Yes, all right.
Nobody thinks they rent.
Well, part of what's going on, Miss Ellsworth, is this is all over St. Joe County and all over the state of Michigan and all over the country. Companies are buying trailer parks. They were little mom and pop operations, and now they're being bought by large companies with professional management. Some cases they're trying to clean them up, and there's a lot of anguish. We've got trailer parks full of old trailers that can't be moved anywhere. The companies are trying to modernize. So the last payment made here was $600 $500 on June 2nd.
Correct.
And that was made by Isabella Berrigan.
Do you have a lease with Isabella Berrigan?
Actually, I do have a demand with Isabella's name on it. Back when the old owners owned the trailer park, they never even, she signed a lease, but they never gave her a copy of that lease.
Let's assume you moved in June. Isabella Berrigan paid on some rent prior to that time, and now no one's paid any rent for June, July, August, September, or October. What's your response to that?
June was paid for because that's the one Isabella Berrigan made that $500 payment.
That went to money that was already owed. The $500 paid in June went to previous unpaid lot rent. So you move in June, that's 5 months at $378 per month. That's $1,890, which is close to the figure they've got. Your position is, I'm living here. I haven't paid any rent since I got here, and they're no good bums because I moved back in without a lease. So you're a tenant at sufferance. You're living there, and according to you, you have no lease. They're saying that you have a lease that you signed in February of 2024, and they never discharge you from the lease. I'm not sure how this Miss Ibbotson gets into the picture. Apparently, they accepted money from her, and they sent a demand in her name. But if we just start from scratch, you've been there since June, you haven't paid any rent. So they want you to move out or pay the rent. Also, if you're going to stay there, you need to either go on the existing lease or sign a new lease. Either way, you owe a substantial amount of money, close to $2,000 or above it. Do you have a plan to try to pay that?
Actually, I was going to be talking to, because I've been getting messages from, I believe her name is Rachel. We received a statement in the mail back in July, $1,983.07.
Have you paid anything since July?
I have not, Your Honor, to be honest.
All right.
I have it put up, but I've also been waiting for a lease to sign.
All right. And this is a mess. It's in part because of the transition from the previous management to the new management. And so the numbers don't match. But you're not going to get, if you don't have a lease, they're not going to give you any financial assistance because you're
Correct.
a squatter. You're living in your cousin's trailer and not paying any lot rent, and you have no lease. That's one way to view it. The other way to view it is you have a lease from February that they never released you from. When you move out, you're supposed to turn in your keys and give your forwarding address in writing within 4 days of your moving. If you just move and they don't know whether you're there or not, that doesn't get it. Plus, nobody paid the lot rent. So you are in a tough spot. In fact, have you made any provision to move?
Actually, I've been trying to find somewhere, yes, because not only is it a struggle here, to be honest, but also the safety of my child in this trailer park.
Well, that's one of the things this company's trying to alleviate. I drive through that park about once a month. When I come back from my meeting on Thursday, I'll go up and drive up and just look around because I'm nosy. But I go through the park at least once a month. They're trying to do their best. Anyway, we need to continue this matter to October 20th. So essentially, you would have until the end of October to pay even that minimum amount. And the fundamental question is, you claim you have no lease. They claim you do have a lease. Frankly, you're in better shape if you do have a lease. A, you could get some emergency financial assistance, and B, you have standing as a tenant. Otherwise, you're a squatter living in your cousin's trailer with or without their knowledge. Then you impugn the reputation of the park, saying that you're nervous about your daughter's safety. So I was like, man, these people anyway. So maybe you should move. And this happens a lot. People would move if they had somewhere to move to. Right now, your rent is zero. That's a pretty good deal. There isn't anywhere else that's going to have a zero rent. We're going to continue this, and I would also ask council and management to take a look at these numbers and look at these issues. You may also want to contact your manager. Also, is there an issue with the owner of the trailer? She has this trailer on the lot that she's like letting others live in, if there's any sort of agreement with the person that actually owns the trailer. So there's issues here also. And again, this is part of the transition from the old management to the new management. Ms. Polly, you have any thoughts on this?
I would note that the lease that we attached to the complaint that's signed by Ms. Brianna Ellsworth does indicate that she says tenant warrants and represents that tenant is the owner of the manufactured home and that tenant's name appears on the certificate of title. I don't have any documentation as to an Ashley Rosner or any information of the sort, but
Well, she's listed
that's
as
what I do have. And
All
so
right, that would be Ashley Ellsworth, who's your spouse.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so she actually owns the trailer.
No, my cousin Ashley Rosner. So when Kiana was
Okay.
the manager before, she had
All right.
Ashley Rosner come in back last year when we signed the lease, and she had to give them copies of basically stating that she was renting it to us.
All right. Once again, Meg, we got a little hornet's nest here. But the bottom line is you're living there and you're not paying any rent. There are other issues, but at some point, you are either going to need a lease. Apparently, your lease says you and your spouse are the owner. Anyway, this is what's legally qualified, if you look it up in Black's Law Dictionary, as a big mess. I'm also going to give you an opportunity to discuss this matter with Meg Bauer from Legal Aid, and counsel will take a look at things at their end. But at some point, I'm likely to give you a number that you have to pay or move out. Whatever that number is, I'll give it to you on the 20th of October. And then I'll give you 10 days from that day to pay that number or move. Meg, you didn't hear most of this, McGilla.
I think I got the gist from your summary, though.
All right, thank you.
Judge Middleton, may I add one more thing?
Yes?
I just need to ask who signed the fresh start payment on 8/1/2025? Who signed the fresh start agreement? Miss Brianna?
I did.
So you signed the agreement that stated that you owed $1,368.44 to have a fresh start and to pay an extra $100 a month until caught up in full.
You are correct.
Okay,
All right, well, I'm going to need a copy of that. We can operate from that.
absolutely.
Provide a copy of that fresh start agreement. That makes you a tenant rather than a squatter. And it's going to help us narrow down the amount that's owed. All right, that would be very helpful. And if you would send it to me, I'll make sure that Ms. Bauer can see it also.